Hey guys, my name is Jim Aspel. I'm a board certified workers' compensation lawyer in Farmington, Connecticut. And I wanted to talk to you today about some of the things that I look at that go into settling a shoulder injury claim in workers' compensation. Shoulder injury claims are one of the more common things that we see. Most frequently, we see a rotator cuff tear. Occasionally, we see bicep tendonitis. Those are probably the two big ones. And in most of these instances, the indicated repair is going to be some sort of surgical procedure, either a open or arthroscopic rotator cuff repair or a biceps tenodesis, when the doctor goes in and reconnects your bicep tendon where it's supposed to go. In either of these cases, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind if you're going to try to settle the case. Um, Now, generally speaking, in my experience, rotator cuff repairs tend to not hold up long term particularly well. And so by that I mean the longer the period of time that goes on after you've had your rotator cuff repair, the more likely you are to sustain a recurring tear, or if you're of a certain age, uh, the shoulder, you're using your shoulder long enough, eventually, as a result of either the tear or the degeneration that's happened in the joint, you're going to end up with shoulder arthritis to some degree or another. And in a lot of instances, in those cases, you're going to be going back to your orthopedic surgeon maybe 15 or 20 years following your injury. And the doctor, at least at this point, the recommendation is going to be either a shoulder replacement or a reverse shoulder replacement, which are both pretty common and pretty successful surgical procedures that are being done frequently at this point. So if we want to close out a shoulder claim and you've had your surgical repair, you want to keep the future prognosis for these things in mind. So when you have your initial surgery following the initial injury, you're going to recover, and the doctor is typically going to give you a permanent partial disability rating. Generally speaking, we see somewhere between 12 and 15% on a shoulder repair that's been done arthroscopically, or a bicep repair. Generally, the permanencies are about the same. So if you're going to close your case out, in all likelihood, you're going to be entitled to a 15% PPD rating or 12 to 15% PPD rating right off the bat. Now, you don't want to just accept that because knowing what I've just told you, your shoulder over time is going to deteriorate. And so, what you want to be sure to do is when evaluating the case for settlement purposes, uh, allow some some monetary allowance for future treatment, and depending whether that's a rotator cuff arthroscopic redo or a shoulder replacement, depend. But I mean, you've got a wide range of what the future medicals could look like. And then you're also going to want to keep in mind the increase in permanency. So the takeaway is if you're going to settle out your shoulder claim sooner rather than later following your injury, and generally speaking, I do recommend the sooner you settle the case, the better, because these things don't tend to get any better with age. Um, Keep in mind that you may be entitled to these things down the road, and that barring any intervening event, the insurance company on the original injury is going to be on the hook for that additional surgical procedure or the increase in permanency or any lost time or anything like that that's going to relate back to the original work injury. So just be sure not to sell yourself short. Keep in mind what the future is. A lot of what we're doing when we're settling these workers' compensation cases is trying to peer into the crystal ball and figure out what the future is going to look like in terms of the body part that's affected. So hopefully that helps. Don't sell yourself short. If you do want help with your workers' compensation claim, or you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us. We're in Farmington, Connecticut, 860-523-8783. We do have a website, ctworkinjurylawyer.com. That's ctworkinjurylawyer.com. A lot of information there. If you found the video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I'd invite you to subscribe to the channel so that you can learn more about Connecticut workers' compensation, particularly, and workers' compensation topics in general. Again, hope you found that helpful, and thanks for listening.